Hey everybody, it's that time of month again. So on my Patreon every month, for those of you who are new to the channel, I basically copied this idea from Digibro of doing rants if people pay you money to do them. So this rant is for Sad Man Chronicles, who wants me to rant about loving or hating people. Um, Now, I couldn't really figure out which one I wanted to talk about for this one because, like, both hating and loving people have been such big parts of my life for a long time that it's difficult to discern which one is more important. So I'm going to briefly talk about both of them. In the case of hating people, I think what leads a lot of people to hating humanity, and this is just my own perspective based on my personal experience, I could be totally wrong here, is that they have negative experiences with other people that lead them to feel that the entire human race is bad. You know, I've had these bullying experiences in school, or I've been socially awkward and unable to talk to people, and now because I'm socially awkward, I'm gonna blame it on the entirety of everyone. Or I find people boring, and I refuse to adapt. I'm my own arrogance and pretentiousness makes it to where every time I listen to normal people talk, I get frustrated because they're quote unquote stupid or something like that. Um, I think it's like hubris, right? Is that if you kind of build yourself up as like I'm an intellectual and I'm smarter than everybody else and all this other nonsense, then when you hear people talk who you think are dumb or something like this, then you're gonna get pretty mad. Uh, because you don't feel like they have like the correct positions, or you don't feel like they're thinking in a way that makes sense. And I'll tell you, like I have people who are quite close to where I live who are, far right Republican people, Trump supporters, and this kind of thing. I don't agree with this. I've had friends with a lot of Trump people. I've had conversations with them. They're not all dumb necessarily, but these ones in particular are pretty dumb, and it's mostly just from like a lack of education kind of thing. Like the reason they have really like, and these people, and for full context, these people would be dumb regardless of their political ideas. Like if they were, part of the Communist Party or something, and they talked the way that they talked about Trump, then I would think those people are stupid, regardless of if I agreed with them or not. So, I listen to these Trump people, talking about all these things, and I don't really get mad because I realize that these guys are thinking this way because of the education that they've had, because of the upbringing that they've had, and they mean well. Now, some of them don't mean well, and for those people, that's not good. But not everyone is like that, Not everyone is like a militant far right guy who wants to beat people up. That's like in a very, very small section of the population. Now, I have met people like that, and that's not a good thing, but not everyone is like that. And so I think, like, by and large, people want to do the right thing. In my experience, people want to have good intentions. They just, there's a mental barrier because they grew up in an environment where they didn't have access to the proper education. They didn't have access to parents who would treat them well and tell them that they loved them, and ask them to question things and to think. And so now they're in a situation where there's nothing in particular that's pushing them to try and succeed or to try and be better than what they currently are. And so they're just kind of existing the way that they are. Um, and it's a little bit sad to see this because I'm someone who thinks thinking about things is obviously important, and because it can, if you introspect, it can lead you to make better life choices. Like when if I had not introspected on the problems with my sleep schedule and on the problems with me not going outside, I wouldn't have tried to fix the problem, and I would have just stayed as depressed and lonely as I was. Now I still have these problems, but they're not as bad as they were before. I wouldn't have been able to fix the problem in some sense by changing my behavior if I didn't introspect on the behavior in the first place. So introspection is really important, but a lot of these people don't have the ability to do that. And so I see a lot of people online, they get frustrated and they go, this person is just retarded, this person is super dumb, and I get mad when I listen to them because they can't introspect. And I don't think that's the right way to go about it because, first of all, getting angry is really unhealthy. If you get angry, you should get that under control right away. It is not a good thing to get angry at all. But second of all, you know, choosing to be very annoyed by these people and choosing to be disgusted by your interactions with them isn't really going to work because these people are everywhere, and so you kind of have to learn to coexist with them and to see the positive parts of them. Now, there's positive parts of almost everybody. It interacting with people is just about being able to see those positive parts and being able to downplay the negative ones. And so if you're able to make it to where you don't feel like shit whenever you talk to someone who's a little bit dumb or someone who has some different views, doesn't really think very much, if you don't bring out that hubris, basically, that kind of pretentious energy of I'm better than everyone else and I have it all figured out, then you're gonna be able to hate people a lot less, I think. And I've been really, really arrogant with this kind of thing in the past, of running around saying everyone is stupid and I know everything and all this other nonsense. And it's not productive. It's not a productive way of thinking about things because, if you have conversations with people for long enough, eventually you'll realize they do have good intentions. They don't want to do wrong. It's just that they've been led to do so. And so, try to, try to reinterpret the things that you get annoyed about people. If you find people to be dumb or something, consider why and consider how you can tackle that. Consider how you can stop relying so much on that as a way to isolate yourself. The other thing I think that leads people to hating others, other than like hubris and stuff, it tends to be bullying. You were bullied in school. I was bullied a lot in school. And you just kind of translate those experiences into later in your life where you go, everyone is just going to hurt me anyway, so what's the point of interacting with them? They're all normal fags. That's the word. That's the word that likes to get thrown around. They're all normal fags. Because they're just like everyone who hurt me when I was in school. This is very dangerous because most people are not like that, but your views of them get colored or changed by expecting them to be like that. I have a video called Misanthropy where I am walking around the street. I was like homeless at the time. I was walking around the street in Nevada talking about this idea that, like, when I was in school, I would always be the one people ganged up on. I would always be the person who people found a weakness in, people found something they didn't like, and they would sort of exploit that. They would exploit these little things about me that were embarrassing or dumb, And I never really knew how to defend myself because I would just get upset the moment that they said those things, and I would just be quiet. And then the entire group would start shitting on me and being really mean. I actually still remember these things, oddly enough. I thought I would have forgotten by now. I thought I wouldn't remember anymore, but that, yeah, so, I have that video where I'm walking around the street talking about this idea, and, it sort of, like, looking back at it, it sort of gives off the energy that the reason I was misanthropic at the time was because I was projecting those experiences onto my future experiences. Well, why don't I just stay in my room all the time because I don't want to get ganged up on by another social group. You know, don't want to relive those experiences. So why not just not try? And it's really dangerous because human connections are good. They make your life better. They make you feel better. You just have to not be afraid to take them. The biggest step, I think, is being able to put yourself at risk of being hurt again. You know, it's like the 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 crab's dilemma or something in Evangelion, the weird Jungian thing or something like that is that you had like two crabs come together, and because their lobster claws are like too deep or something, if they get too close they'll snap each other's necks off or something like that. And so, you know, you can't put two lobsters together because they'll just break one another if they get too close, right? And so, um, like what Ava was trying to say is that you have to put yourself at risk of that happening anyway, because everyone in that show is terrified of getting too close with someone else. But the ultimate message of the show is to embrace humanity. It's to embrace the things that make us the same, and to say, I will put myself at the risk of being misunderstood, at the risk of being hurt, even though the risk very much is there. And because of that, I'm stronger because I receive the good things that come as a result of taking that risk. Because the risk, you know, the fear that you have doesn't always manifest itself in reality. Doesn't always happen. You just have to allow yourself to put up with the fact that it could happen. And so, I think the crab's dilemma or whatever it was is really pertinent because of that, and it's one of the things that leads people to hate other people, because like who the hell do you think I am? I'm just some kid talking in their room. I don't know anything about the world. Do you really expect me to be able to tell you what people are like? I don't know shit about people. I've only had so few experiences. And so when I'm saying, "Oh, I hate humanity. I'm misanthropic. I've had these experiences." Well, what that's saying is cowardice. It's me coming out and saying, "I'm so much of a coward that I'm just going to succumb to my own I'm just going to succumb to my own negative experiences because I'm too afraid to put myself at risk of being misunderstood, and whatever, I'll just isolate myself because I'm a scared little boy." This kind of thing. It's utter nonsense. And like, it wasn't coming from a place of wisdom. It wasn't coming from a place of like, I have walked the fields of the earth. I have seen their faces, their malfeasance. No, I wasn't saying anything like that. It was me just saying, oh, I've had like 5 bad experiences. I'm gonna stay in my room, guys. You know, that's what it was. Like, and so um hating people, for me, I can't speak for other people, but I'm sure other people have had similar experiences. um it was always like a product of inexperience and fear, is that you hate people because you haven't interacted with enough people. And I'm sure there are people who have like interacted with so many people that changing their perspective just wouldn't work, or meeting new people just wouldn't work because they just weren't compatible with other people. And those people are probably pretty old. Like they're probably in like their late 20s or 30s or something. Late 20s at the earliest from what I've seen. But um, I don't think it's ever too late to keep on trying if you haven't tried before. But if you've tried everything, some people are just gonna hate other people. But I don't think most people are that way. That's like the 0.1% of society that end up being that way. Um, so I think like hating humanity on a broad level is very, very silly because most people who are online like me are pretty young and we haven't had enough experiences. Like a lot of these people who I talk to who hate humanity have never even worked a job. Can you imagine that? They've never even worked a job and you're going to try and tell me that you hate human beings. You haven't even interacted with that many human beings, you know? And so uh I think hating people is a little bit silly, but it's also legit depending on who you are. Like if you've gone through the experiences and if you've tried everything you can try and you're a bit older, I can understand hating humanity. Um, but otherwise it's just very silly. As for loving people, I think loving people's really important. It, it's people who ultimately give us a sense of purpose in life that even if you're just like an isolated artist in your room or something, the fact that your legacy is being carried on is the product of other people. You release your masterpiece and then other people say it's good and then you feel good as a result of that and your life is better. That was other people doing that. Your legacy is carried on, which gives you your entire foundation of meaning in life. That was other people doing that. Without other people, you would not have felt that way. Um, but beyond those things, in the realm of like friendships provide loyalty. They provide support. There have been times where I was in a really dark place, and my friends helped me out of it. One particular instance was when I was living in Virginia. I might have died. I was very close. I was very close to committing suicide, and I had a friend who called the cops on me right when I was about to kill myself. Really lucky. Really, really, I guess really fortunate event for those of you who like listening to me. I don't like listening to myself, but that was something that happened. So without that friend, I would have probably died, which would be pretty funny in retrospect. Um, but yeah, so friends are pretty important. They provide you a sense of support. They help us when we're down. They can tell you that they believe in you and stuff, and that reinforces a sense of it reinforces a sense of self. Like when you're a little kid, and your parents tell you, I believe in you. You're my kid. I love you. Just keep working hard. You messed up here, but you can do better if you do it this way. Just keep doing it. Oh, usually that instills a sense of belonging in children. That gives them motivation because they want to see their parents care about them. They want to see their parents love them and what was I gonna say? Um, it's a word I was gonna use. I forgot. What was I talking about exactly? Oh yeah, parents. So you with parents like you want to see your parents be impressed. You want to see them provide you with some kind of care. And so that's something that's kind of the same for everybody. I've seen studies say that like hugging your kids a lot, lots of physical affection and different methods of like talking to them can like change their whole development and stuff. And those things are pretty important, you know? So other people have a big effect on you, on your development, because like we care about other people. We want to be loved. We want to be accepted. And so, from a very young age, um, love can be a life or death situation for some people. Pretty important. And so, loving people is something that I think most people desire. Most of us want it, and it feels really good when you have a friend or a family member that you can come to and that you can tell how important they are to you. You can just talk about normal things. You can you can vent to them, or just go out and do things, go to the movie theater, go out and eat, walk around town, play video games with them. These are things that a lot of us take for granted, but they're really, really important. And sometimes I don't think I would be able to get through the day if it weren't for my friends. And my friends have helped me out of some really, really dark places. And my only wish is that I get to spend more time with them. So hopefully one day, I'll be out of this house and I can spend more time with my friends IRL. But that's the hope anyway. Just have to keep working towards it. Um, I don't actually have a lot to say about loving people, to be honest with you. I have other videos. There's a video called Love is the Way Forward, Never Give Up on Making Friends, which kind of summarizes my whole feelings on the matter. Now, love is really important. It's something that binds us all together. Um, I had more to say about hating people because with hating people, um, I I used to have really dumb opinions on that, and I've been kind of trying to grow out of my old edgy, nihilist kind of self. Um, so yeah, thank you for the rant topic, Man Chronicles. As always, um, I'll see you in the next rant video.